What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series. Thank you guys for joining in. Guys, if you're not a subscriber of my channel, if you could do that, it is much appreciated. Keep sharing my content. Guys, give me thumbs up. Discord, link in the description below. I always say Discord is one of the most beneficial things from this channel, and today proves it why. You're a new selector, you're on week 2, week 3, you're struggling, you don't have that trainer with you every single day like you used to, and you need help still. And maybe the warehouse isn't giving it to you, or maybe they only give you a day and you're still not clicking with it. So this is what I'm here for. You guys take pictures of your work, you post it over on Discord, and then I am here to dissect it and try to help you become better and get that system going. You guys in your probation weeks, it is very important that you get that system going, and that is what I'm hoping to help you establish. Guys, join that Discord. Like I said, link in the description below. And if you want to help support the channel, you can shop at my eBay store. That link is also in the description below. All right, guys, so the first person posted a video. If you are new to the channel, I always say to try to take still pictures, because when I download the video and you're panning around your pallet, I got to freeze it and then try to take a screenshot of it. So some of these pictures are going to be blurry, and that's the only reason why I ask for still pictures and not videos. This person, if you're saying that you are a new selector, you are crushing it. If you built this without your trainer, like sometimes I get, some of my selectors saying, look at my pallet. Meanwhile, I was there with them. If you built this without your trainer, you're doing a fantastic job. Guys, in dry goods, these big pickles, I love putting them exactly where he has them, in the middle of the pallet. I always say big strong cases on the corners, but these pickles, they funnel up. They got a weird cardboard in them, so they're not exactly a flat top. So putting these in the middle of the pallet like this person has them is absolutely perfect. We're using slip sheets. That's fine, guys. If you're comfortable with slip sheets, use them. But your stacking on this front pallet is just freaking really, really nice. Let's get on to the next picture. So like I said, guys, a little bit blurry, but I do want to get to this next picture right here. In my opinion, too big of holes, and this comes with running cases this way. My cross and tee videos tell you how I like cases pointing towards the middle of the pallet, not this direction in this part of the pallet. That is crossing over the line of the cross and tee, and this is what happens. You either leave gaps here, you leave gaps also on the inside of your pallet, and I don't know if you have a slip sheet here, but this case, to my likings, is balancing way too much. Now, if you have a slip sheet there, it's going to help and prevent from falling into the hole. But me personally, I also like putting cases in there. If you could have fit a case in there, so if this case does slip and you don't have a slip sheet there, it's going to have something to catch on to and not knock your pallet over. But the only thing I would have done differently is this section right here in the middle. I would have had cases facing in, and I would have filled that gap. On the back of your pallet, I just love this. Okay, guys, I really like this. All right, just nice and spaced out. Guys, when you're putting cases like this, don't hug these two Criscos together and hug these two Criscos together, then have a gap here, because that gap may or may not be a problem later on in your order. Space them out just like this person did. Just a great job, guys. Bags, these are sugars. He put them in the middle of it looks like one sugar, maybe a dog food, possibly 9 lives, but unbelievably perfect where I would put these. All right, if you have boxes and you have bags, put the bags in the middle. All right, because they're not the greatest thing to stack on. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, and sometimes they could be a slippery surface that can cause a problem. But if I'm selecting all bags, obviously we're going to make it work. But if I have a chance to put boxes on my corners and not the bags, I'm going to do so. I like how this person did this. Once again, guys, what do you see right here? All right, space them out. We got a little bit of big of a gap here, but we're okay. But spacing these cases out, maybe, but he really couldn't bring this one over anymore, because then we'd be filling off this case. Great job at stacking the back of this pallet. All right, guys, over here, once again, it's kind of hard to see, but once again, we were running bags this direction. I'm just a firm believer in the middle of the pallet to run stuff facing in. There's something else. Oh yeah, this leaning cases in the gaps could always be a problem. I think we're also going to look at your next picture, and you have one. Now, this case here, I don't like standing these cases up on their ends. I like them down flat because they are that nice big flat case. Now, we don't have a lot of weight up here. And this is also knowing your warehouse, knowing how many cases are left. I always tell you it's so important to say, if you know you're getting towards the end of your aisles, so let's say we're starting in 20 aisle, we end in 25 aisle, I'm in 24 aisle. And if you have a headset and you couldn't say how much more, and it says that we got 12 cases left, I'm throwing these cases. I don't care how I'm placing them. as long as they're on the pallet, they're not getting broken. I am throwing those 12 cases up there as fast as I could possibly throw them up there. So all these cases thrown up here, I got no problem with. If I'm right here and it says I have 40 cases left, I still want to take my time stacking my pallet, and I would recommend putting that big case down flat on the corner facing in to make sure that we got that nice strong corner. But it's all knowing your warehouse, how many cases are left, the cube of your pallets. If you're a new selector, a cube, they should be identifying that to you. Usually like a 60 cube is around a 6-foot pallet. So if you have a 50 cube pallet, you are not going to have a full pallet. So you don't have to worry about filling out the layers as much because you got room to build. But if you have a full pallet, then you really got to compact things in, fill gaps up, make sure that we're stacking a little bit better. It's very important to know the cubes and ask your headset how much more, so you give yourself an idea of like, what is this pallet going to look like whenever it's done. Now right here, once again, these bags right here that you have running long ways, if they were facing in, we would not be having these problems, because remember, bags taper off at the end, so the chances of you getting a case to fit level over there is going to be slim to none. So if these bags were facing in, or maybe even take these bags and put them on a corner piece up on the front pallet, on the front of your pallet facing in, and save this for boxes. I do like how you filled in stuff down here, guys. If you have a gap, it doesn't matter if this case is serving a purpose. If you can eliminate it from going up above and putting it down below somewhere just to fill in a gap, then do it. But like, I don't like this part of the pallet. Guys, brand new, go to Discord, go to my videos, watch the Cross and T part 2, 3, and 4. Number 1's irrelevant. It was just the beginning of it. So just 2, 3, and 4, watch those, and you're going to see why I do not like stacking like this in this part of the pallet. I promise you, your pallet's going to be a lot better if we got cases facing in, and we don't want to lean cases in the gaps. When you lean cases in the gaps, you can give yourself a problem. It might not be a problem whenever your pallets are together, but when you go to separate your pallets to wrap it, it's going to become a problem, because a case that leaning into the gap is going to be enough to knock your pallet over. All right, guys, there's a few things I want to say on this pallet here. Let me move out of the way. Once again, cases leaning in the gaps. This is without a doubt, and these are sauces without a doubt. There is probably a 90% chance that these sauces, when you separate your pallets, is knocking these 3 Jiffies over, because these 2 cases are a lot heavier than those 3 cases. So when you go to separate your pallet, bam, gonna fall over. We don't want to lean cases in the gaps. There it is, guys. Case in this part of the pallet facing this direction. We got a small case on the corner. This case would have been on my corner facing in. Cross and T, cross and T, cross and T. If you're imperishable and you're in dry goods, those cross and T videos, in my opinion, are gold. All right, they change a lot of people's ways they do things. And when people watch those videos, new selectors, they always said that they build that much better the next day. So, guys, I don't mind the bottom too much. If these are 2 separate, they're 2 separate cases. Just always separate your gaps. We always want our gaps to be minimal, not big, like this. So just moving this case over a couple inches can alleviate the gap down there, and we don't have to worry about cases slipping into those. Your cases right here, I like. You got these nice big heavy cases here, and then you put this case. Don't waste these cases, all right? When you get cases like this, they are great corner pieces, and it doesn't even matter. You don't have to select level by level. Put it on the corner facing in. So our front could be all the way up here and our back could be all the way down here. And then we could play catch up and get our back even with the front. The back pallet, obviously a lot of the same cases. We have a nice solid base. All this is perfect. Honestly, your back pallet's flawless except for one thing, and that's this slip sheet. I have seen this time and time and time again. Do yourself a favor. Now, what do you have, 3 slip sheets there? So you just took a whole stack of them and just stacked them there, because this looks like 3 slip sheets, which makes that even stronger. So let's say you're going down and out, and there's another selector in the out, and I have to pass them, and these slip sheets are hanging out like this. Then either A, you hit the rack and knock your pallet over, because it will most certainly do it, because what happens is you hit the rack here, and the slip sheet's going to just shift out, and it's going to take all your contents with it, and you're going to knock your pallet over that way. Or if you're passing another selector and the slip sheet's on that side, you can knock their pallets over. take the time to just cut off the sides of these, trim them down a little bit. Now you have 3 of them here, so you would have to trim them down one at a time because these ones are thick. You can, unless you have a regular blade, the safety blades they give you in the warehouse, you're probably not going to be cutting 3 of those at a time. But make sure you trim this down, because I have seen it so many times where people knock their pallets over because a slip sheet is hanging off the pallet. All right, this one here, first order, they said they ever selected on their own, is how I took that, not as a selector with a trainer. I'm hoping this is on your own, because if it is, you're doing a great job. We did a really good job on the front of this pallet. All I want to say is that right back here, this, I don't know if this case was buckled when you put it on there, or if it's because of this skinny case you put on the end of it and that's the way the weight is. But all what you had to do, if that's the case, if you selected this case buckled, okay, because it does happen that way, take the buckled in and face it inwards. So you got the higher, so it's not leaning this way, it's leaning in, is what I want to get to. You can still use it, and honestly, I would probably stick it in the middle of my pallet. Even though this is the square cube one, I'd probably stick it in the middle of the pallet, trade it out with another case. I probably don't want that on my corner piece. Now, if you selected this and it was a really good case, it's because of this. So all you had to do is just remove this tea, it looks like, or some whatever this is right here, and drop this butter down, or the tapioca pudding. That's all you had to do. Just take this out and drop this down and move this case somewhere else, and you would have had your nice flat corner. Trainers, I don't like how they always say touch that case one time, touch that case one time, because this compromised your pallet. And if you would have just took that case out and then put this down, your pallet would be perfectly fine. These here, that's fine. You're up higher on the front of your pallet, looks good. The rest of your pallet looks great. Just this here, one case, guys. If you have one case to move to make the integrity of your pallet that much stronger, do it. All right, get that touch once mentality out of your head, especially as a new selector. All right, so the last 2 pictures we're going to look at are the same order. I just took a screenshot of them individually. Another new selector. Guys, just a few things here. First of all, for a new selector, you're doing really well. Once again, filling in gaps. It's a little bit big of a gap. I would have liked to see another big case of juice or some milk in there to fill that gap in. Like this case here probably would have been better up here, and we could have had a nice solid case in here. Watch leaning into the gaps, even with heavy weight. All right, this is one of those, it looks like the same things that we just looked at. No, it's not. So, but still, you just want to watch leaning weight into a gap, because it could cause a problem. And that all comes from facing cases inwards. Now back here, right here, this case is a little lower than this case. Once again, if you put this case down first and then you put this case, pick them up together, spin them, and get the higher case on the outside. I promise you, when you are stacking juice in the dairy, those higher cases around the perimeter of the pallet are gold, especially low on your pallet. So if you put this case down and this case down, and this case is just a little lower than this case, switch these cases around and keep that higher case on the outside. I promise you it's going to work out for you. This case right here, I would have swapped it with this case. I like my big strong cases on the corners. Now your pallet turned out well. I'm just telling you what I would do differently, because not all your pallets might turn out this well. I'm just saying I would have switched these 2 around, and I would have had the big case on the corner, because it just gives that much more stronger of a pallet. Other than that, this is a really good looking pallet. Let's take a look at the back. Now back here, we do have a few things that I would definitely do differently. First and foremost, if you're selecting eggs on top of anything, they should have a bag on there. You might, I don't know, looks like there's some extra wrap back here. Maybe you fold a wrap over, I don't know, but it doesn't look like there's anything under those eggs. Cross-contamination, them actually might even be on the pallet behind you, I don't know, but you definitely want to have something, even a slip sheet, something. You want to have some type of barrier in between your eggs and the juice and the milk that it's sitting on. Case on its side, I don't know what it is. It looks like it's the plastic tubs of something. I don't do it. I would keep that upright, and you have room to keep it upright. Like you could have fit this in here upright. So in the dairy, I put very little cases on their sides. Now these cases down here, all of these down here, all right? Picture those being those coffee mates, because I want to show you one of my dairy pictures, all right? So I would treat those cases on the bottom, because they have the open sides, and they tend to be a little flimsy, especially at the bottom of a pallet with weight on them. They tend to act sort of like the coffee mates. So on my pallet here that I stack all my coffee mates towards the front of my pallet, because why? When you hit your throttle, and if you have a jack that really likes to jerk, okay, so you go and it likes to like jerk forward, because you as a new selector are going to get old equipment. I've seen you guys talking about that on Discord. It happens all the time. Well, if you have all your weaker cases that you don't want to stack on towards the front of the pallet and your stronger cases on the back of the pallet, well, when your jack keeps jerking back every time you hit that throttle, it's going to be leaning towards the strong cases and not towards these weak cases. So once again, you see my coffee mates up there. Do that with these. These would have been stacked on the front of my pallet, and I don't care if I was all the way up here. If I took all of these and stacked them up maybe across the whole front of my jack, I would have had them up to here. And let's see, I don't even know if this is the front of your pallet or not. I would imagine this is the front of your pallet, because you start selecting and you start selecting up to the front of your pallet. So I'm guessing this is the front of your pallet. So I would have took these, stacked them up the front, and all this weight would have been dropped down to the back of my pallet. You can stack these in the middle of your pallet. I just don't like them. If you have a lot of them, do what I said. Just like the coffee mates up on the front, I guarantee you're going to select better. This here, 1000% disagree with this gap. This would have been up high on the front of my pallet. So what I like to do is any cases that aren't lining up, you're getting all these cases that all match up together. The cans don't match up, all of these match up, and then you get cans, and then you get this. Up on the front, out of the way. Up on the front, out of the way, especially when you only have a few. Get them up on the front of the pallet, out of the way, and keep saving the back of your pallet for cases that match up with each other. You will select your dairy a lot faster that way. So any cases that do not match up on the front, up on the front. Just keep throwing them up on the front. Throw them on your jack. If you get this here, and you have a basket on your jack, and you have room, and this isn't working out, throw the stupid case on the jack, and worry about it later. Keep stacking up cases that match up together, and I think you will be building a lot faster in a short time. But I just want to show this one more time and just show you guys. Now, guys, over on Discord too, if you are a new selector, go over to my selection videos or my videos, and you're going to have pictures of my work over there. And you can start looking at what I do. Guys, skinny case, these little Starbucks or whatever they are, put them in the middle of your pallet. Keep light cases together. I like to keep all my problem cases up towards the front. These sour creams, I do not like them in the middle. On the back of my pallet. Juices, you'll see big cases facing in, higher cases, just like I said on that one picture. If this case was here and I got the Florida's Natural, when it was here, I would take them and swap them around, because I want the high corner and low inside. And I don't care, see how minute that is? It means a lot, especially this low. Now up here, not that big of a deal. Down here, it's a big deal. Look here, guys. High corner, low inside. Kept my high corner, low inside. Things tend to stack a lot nicer when you have your high corners and your low insides. All right, guys, that's it for today. If one of your pictures are on here and you have any more questions, you could private message me. You could even leave a comment under this video, and we could chat that way as well. If you're not a member of Discord and you are a new selector, take your pictures, put them over on Discord, reach out to me privately. If you don't want a name to your picture, that's fine. Just look up the Warehouse Series over on Discord, private message me your picture, and we will keep it private, and I will not mention who posted the picture, or whose it is. So I would like to help you out as much as I possibly can, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.